Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us today for this insightful masterclass on Rethinking Accounting, the Rise of AI, hosted by the University of Bath. My name is Shweta Gautam, and I'm the Client Engagement Manager at StudyIn, and I will be moderating today's session. At StudyIn, we work closely with leading global universities to support students in exploring international education opportunities and making informed decisions. This masterclass is designed for students who are considering careers in accounting, finance, business, or related fields. It will help you understand how AI is influencing modern accounting practices. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Emily Theodosio. She's a qualified and experienced academic at the University of Bath, known for her student-focused teaching approach. She is the director of studies for the Accounting and Management BSc program and brings extensive international experience in financial reporting and tax planning, offering students a global perspective on accounting systems and regulatory frameworks. We are delighted to have you all here. Before we begin, a quick note. Please feel free to share your questions in the Q&A box available at the bottom of your screen. We will address them towards the end of the session. Now, without further delay, I would like to hand over the session to Emily. Over to you, Emily. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. What an incredible topic that we'll be looking at today. How contemporary and what's really interesting with AI in our field is that news and changes come in so fast. What we are going to talk about today will probably be very irrelevant and outdated in about 2 years' time. The whole picture will have changed entirely. I find AI to be one of the biggest challenges in our profession. However, I really do not think it is a challenge in a bad way. I think we have to be optimistic and we have to acknowledge and embrace this digital revolution that we're going through in our profession. And we have to realize that things are only going to get better, okay, with AI. So welcome. And today's session is Rethinking Accounting, the Rise of AI. A few key definitions and a few key areas that I want us to be aware before we fully start. Okay, what is AI? All right, so the implementation of algorithms that can learn from data. Okay, so it's training and it can produce outputs that typically would require human intelligence. Specifically, AI in accounting would be the use of algorithms, machine learning, data analysis, okay, to produce outputs, automate tasks, okay, gain insights on financial data. Agentic AI, a very new thing, okay, so still developing, but it's developing quite rapidly. The use of autonomous AI agents, okay, so digital workers that can pretty much do tasks, okay, for on our behalf. They can execute multi-step audit processes, okay, but of course, for now and for a long time into the future, I believe it will always require human insight. Human judgment, my favorite element of today's session. Okay, what is really human judgment? The cognitive process that involves subjective, okay, not analytical, but subjective evaluation. It requires ethical reasoning and it requires a qualitative assessment, okay? Automation bias, it is a big challenge at the moment with AI in our profession. So when we over rely and overly trust automated systems and we blindly follow the outputs, that increases the risk of what we call automation bias. Okay. It is significantly weakening the independent critical thinking. A bit of a history, and let me just mention I am an accountant. Specifically, I'm an international tax consultant. So I specialize on international tax residency for individuals, but also for companies as well. Now, my parents are also accountants. Okay, so we are a family of accountants, both of them. And working in the industry in the 70s, both of them report a situation where an accountant is literally what we say the number cruncher. Okay, so keeping the books, but in the literal sense of actually keeping the books in the way that in the sense that you open your journal, which is a real tangible physical book, and you record one by one each of the transactions. And all your double entries are manual and handwritten. And all your books are stored in like big files. So accounting in the 50s and 70s involves very, very, very minimal basic computer assistance. And most of the work is actually manual, handwritten. Okay. And that is how it was. Okay. In the up until the 70s, then in the 80s and the 90s and 2010-ish, we start seeing some level of automation. Okay, so we've got the enterprise resource planning systems. Oracle, for example, is a big software that is still a thing today. And digital bookkeeping at this point is starting to become the new reality. Okay, so now we're using the computer and we're using a few functions that can help us automate accounting a little bit. However, from 2010 onwards, we are seeing for the first time in the history of our profession intelligent systems. Okay, so we've seen AI, very, very complicated softwares or not complicated softwares such as basic Excel. We're using machine learning. We're using natural language processing models, robotic process automation. We are predicting very complicated financial data real time, okay, at the moment. And it is a very new reality that we are seeing in the history of our profession. Keeping in mind that our profession is one of the oldest professions in the world, and in the ancient Mesopotamian civilizations and Egyptian civilization, we have indications of stock accounting. Okay, so this is where our profession originated. That's how it started, and it's still surviving and thriving to this date with the use of AI for the first time in our history. So the key technologies, okay, that involve AI use in our profession is first of all, okay, machine learning, risk modeling, very important, okay, anomaly detection, and of course, forecasting. Now, robotic process automation as well. So it just automates structured accounting tasks, for example, invoicing, okay, from the simplest to more complex tasks. Natural language processing, NLP technology. So imagine having a contract with your customer, or you receive your audit report for the quarter or for the year, or you are discussing you're presenting your annual report at the board of directors, okay? All of these documents are very, very big, very, very complex, um, very carefully written and very carefully drafted, okay, to manipulate perception. Okay, these documents will report financial information, but they will report strategy. They will report governance information as well. So only 5 to 10 years ago, for an analyst or somebody in the market to be able to process annual reports or audit reports, that person would require a few hours to days to fully understand the key messages and the key risks behind the long text. Today, this process takes seconds to minutes, okay? NLP systems can actually see, read, understand, and extract insights from very, very complex reports that are written in a specific way and with a specific intent. Now, the practical implications, okay, so what can AI really do at the moment, okay, as of now in our profession? So first of all, automation of routine tasks. So the repetitive, rule-based, so um, uh, 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 the transaction entries, basic invoicing, basic drafting of emails. So the very repetitive, low value tasks can now be fully automated. Okay, data entry, any basic bookkeeping, really, some aspects of auditing. That automation actually improves efficiency and accuracy, and of course, productivity as well. So, and it's time saving. When we say efficiency, we mean low cost and quick, therefore efficient. Now, accuracy is really important. Any human that will try to do repetitive, routine tasks would probably be a person at an entry-level position, so entry-level job, and they would definitely, almost likely, do some level of human error. Now, this level of human error can be significantly prevented by automating these kind of tasks through AI. So let's leave aside the basic tasks, the routine tasks. Let's look at data analysis. AI can do enhanced data analysis at a really, really, really high speed. It can do financial forecasting, risk assessment, valuation, okay, understanding financial statements in seconds, okay, which is extremely time saving, extremely cost saving, and extremely important. Never ever before in our profession were we able to do data analysis so fast and so thorough at the same time. And of course, we also have fraud detection and compliance. So the identification of any irregularities or any anomalies in financial data. Okay, you can pick up fraud, you can pick up errors, you can pick up non-compliance with regulations. And so that's actually quite new and important. Advisory, personalized advice and assistance with financial planning and strategy. Okay, so AI can process your own information or your company's information and very, very, very quickly support your informed decision about your future strategy. And of course, at personal level, okay, this can be personalized as well. So it customized fully to you. All of these exist and can be achieved by humans. Okay, 5 and 10 years ago, we did have routine tasks, completed with really low errors, okay, and audited and moderated. We had really good data analysis. We had some softwares that could do it. We have fraud detection, we have compliance, and we have advice. Okay, we do have all these. And at the moment, humanity can perform all these at really high levels without AI. So what AI really changes is time and cost. AI can do this really fast, really well, and at a really, really low price, which is something we've never seen before. Two types of AI in accounting. We've got generative AI, ChatGPT, Google Gemini. Okay, hey chat, please help me drop this email to my customer. This is Gen AI. Here we've got a report by Thomson Reuters, and it indicates the most common uses of Gen AI in our profession in accounting and audit. And the light blue is 2024, the purplish is 2025, and altogether overall, just by looking at this graph, we can see that in 2025, the use of AI has actually spiked, increased, okay? More and more people are using Gen AI. We do have an interesting anomaly here in tax advisory, 79%, okay, of AI use was in our profession was done to provide tax advice, and that actually dropped rapidly to 62% this year. Well, last year in 2025, which is extremely, extremely interesting. But overall, we see an increase in Gen AI use in terms of tax research. So for what jobs do we use AI, right? Tax research, tax return preparation, advice, just normal basic accounting and bookkeeping. Document summarization, okay? Read this very complicated contract and tell me so and so. Document review, correspondence drafting, only 48%. I use AI a lot for correspondence drafting, compliance, document management, question answering service, auditing. So as you can see in auditing, even though Big Four auditors are heavily, heavily investing in AI at the moment, you can still see that there is auditing is not the job that involves most AI use in our profession at the moment. Finance, even less than auditing. Filling in financial statements. Okay, it's really interesting how actually we do not use AI to fill in financial statements, and we want to do these things as we as humans want to do these jobs, auditing, filling out financial statements, finance. Risk assessment and reporting, still a really low percentage, and marketing, okay. Actually, 91% of accountants use or are planning to use AI, 91%. And we see that the top AI use at the moment is tax and for tax research. And a rapid drop in tax advisory from last year, possibly explained by the drawbacks actually of using AI and the fact that generative AI is still producing inaccurate information. So it can look at tax rules and it can give you some good basic information, but then also it is hallucinating as well. It's imagining things as well. There is contradictory data in our profession at the moment, where some reports come out and say that people are trusting AI or maybe even overly trusting AI outputs, and other data, especially in auditing, other reports present data where actually AI is not trusted, and the suspicion or knowledge that AI produced that output makes that report or that data less reliable in the eyes of the human that is actually reading or using that data. Okay, so we're still very, very, very skeptical, especially in auditing and finance. Okay, very skeptical of AI. Agentic AI. Okay, AI agents, they're still in the early stages in adoption. So currently in accounting, tax, and auditing, AI agents are not in use, but they are to be incorporated really soon in the future. So Deloitte, for example, is investing massively in agentic AI and will incorporate it in their Omnia, in their AI system. So very early stages, okay? They are digital workers, okay? They handle the workflows, they can actually work together. They do require definitely human supervision. So the element of oversight is around and will be around in the foreseeable future, I believe. And well, it's not just assisting people, humans, it is actually replacing humans' work. Deloitte reports that 40% of finance tasks could be fully automated. So think of the effect on the job market. Okay. And a few capabilities here. This is from Deloitte. Agentic AI, what kind of capabilities would it have? Autonomy and decision making. Okay. At the moment, it's okay. It needs a human to be there and manage things, but in by 2018, okay, it will be super autonomous. Reasoning and planning, okay, at the moment, it can handle short problems and structured problems and provide short-term planning, but in the future it will be real time, it will be strategic, it will be way more complex. Natural language understanding, okay, of course, it understands context, it can very in the future will have near human understanding of difficult and complex documents. Task complexity, okay, so it can do complex tasks, multi-agent systems, and integration and adoption, okay, so actually point at solution. It can do the IT help desk job, okay, it can do customer service on its own. It's already doing it, okay, for lots of businesses. So this is the agentic AI. So it can definitely do for now some basic routine tasks and some contextual understanding, but very soon, within less than 2 or 3 years, it will be used as a pretty fully autonomous system that can execute complex tasks and use very good reasoning level, help with planning, help with decision making. At the moment, that's kind of what we have. So if you just check what kind of AI agents you can buy. In our profession, you can look at simple Excel agents. It's an inbuilt function on Excel, so you just buy it and add it, and you write your prompt. Okay, so how can I help you with today? Trace its selected expense, okay, from the invoices, and here you've got your invoice numbers and figures, and AI will just go ahead and do the job for you and produce the output, okay? So very basic level, what we have right now. Tokenomics. So within 2 to 3 years, Deloitte and all of the big fours, and I believe the SMEs as well, will have access to digital workers. Now, these digital workers are much more less expensive than actual workers. Why? Hiring humans, you need to pay them a monthly salary. It's a fixed cost, okay? So no matter how busy or how not very busy work is, that person will still receive their salary. However, salaries are expensive. There's employer contributions, there's high expenses involved in paying salaries, AI agents will technically get paid in the form of tokens. Token is a unit of computation that an AI agent performs, and it also represents a unit of cost. Think of it as part of the company's energy bill. Think of it as a utility cost for the company that uses AI agents. So yes, AI agents are less expensive, but the more you use them and the more tasks they complete, the more tokens they use up and the more the company pays for these tokens. So at the moment, okay, where the workforce is 100% humans, this is a high cost and it is fixed. Okay, so they receive their salary every month. The company is paying the exact same amount to hire the staff that they have hired and to keep the staff employed. But in the future, some of this staff is going to go away, and AI agents will replace some positions, the cost being dynamic and unpredictable. So benefit is much cheaper. And also, if there is no work, there is no cost. Okay. So if today your AI agent doesn't complete a lot of tasks or doesn't complete any task, you're not going to pay anything for it. But if today if your human employee doesn't have anything to do at work, you're still going to pay them a salary. So dynamic cost, however, extremely volatile and unpredictable because it's variable, okay? And because when there is a lot of work, your cost will increase quite drastically and it might go above your control. Some interesting theories that are involved in this situation, okay? Disruptive innovation theory. Small, medium enterprises, where do they stand? It is now very, very cheap and quick and extremely, extremely quick, really fast for them to do the kind of services they provide. SMEs in our profession, let's choose accountants, they probably have a few hundreds of customers. Probably they will be small businesses, and most of the job involves some level of tax advice and tax return filing. Okay, of course. Now, AI can do that instantly and very quickly. So now SMEs have access to cheap resources and they can now take on more and more and more clients. So they can grow and eventually, okay, move up market and potentially in theory, okay, according to Christensen, it's a 1997 theory, according to the disruptive innovation theory, these SMEs can move up market and eventually displace the industry leaders. Okay, so displace Deloitte. In fact, when the industry leaders are investing millions in technology and they are looking to use really advanced AI systems and cut costs, but to cut costs, you need to invest. So you need to spend a lot. Okay, so AI is cheap and technology is cheap, but at the same time, that investment that a company like Deloitte or KPMG, these giants do need to invest millions in AI, whereas a small SME can just pay for a ChatGPT subscription and buy a couple of AI agents at an extremely low cost per month. Okay. And so they can very, very, very quickly take on more clients and grow more and focus in perhaps on oversight or consultancy. Okay. So more high level jobs. And it becomes actually easier for SMEs to grow with the use of technology like AI. With institutional theory, what institutional theory suggests is that really companies just use technology and incorporate technology, not because it's best and the most efficient and best thing out there, but really because it just becomes normal practice in the industry. So competitors do that, you're pushed to do that. Client pressure requires you to just acquire more and more technology. Incentives from regulations, possibly the same. So eventually, the use of technology is expected in our industry rather than it is something really truly beneficial. And companies adopt technology just because it's expected rather than efficient. Super intelligence theory. AI will get smarter and smarter, and they can create better versions of themselves, okay? And eventually they might outperform humans, okay? In the sense that humans will lose their ability to predict and control AI. So in that case, our entire society and our entire economy and system will change alongside with our profession as well. For now, what we know and what we are really, really cautious about is to ensure alignment between AI and human values. So we talked about the benefits. It's cheaper, though it is an unpredictable variable cost, though definitely and undeniably cheaper. Okay. It can do low levels jobs. It can do high level jobs. Okay. So it can automate a lot of our work. It can be really fast and really cheap and actually quite accurate in the job that it does for us. So what is there a challenge? What is the challenges? Over reliance and overly trusting. When you reach a point in your professional career where you cannot not ask ChatGPT or you cannot not use your AI agent, you become heavily, overly dependent on AI. And even though we are relying on it, well, maybe we're trusting it, maybe we're not. Specifically in auditing, AI outputs are not trusted. However, overall, when auditing and accounting and tax and finance does rely on AI use. So at the moment, we are relying on a tech that is really and truly not as reliable and not accurate. It is not necessarily better in terms of accuracy compared to a human. It's just a different type of problematic accuracy. So I don't know, you probably have personally experienced this. I'm struggling with it every day. It hallucinates. Okay, just imagine outputs out of nowhere that do not depend on any inputs you've given it. Nothing. Okay, so it hallucinates, it produces false data. It can mislead the user. So there are massive reliability and accuracy questions, though updates are better and better, okay? And hopefully this will be resolved yet. 43% of people in our profession are concerned about the AI output accuracy. And I still think that this 40%, this 43% is actually quite a low number. It should be higher. Danger to new or transitioning employees. So the fact that AI, we can now automate the basic level jobs that university graduate that is going to that just finished uni and doesn't have any experience and will get a job at entry level. What are they going to do? These jobs will become fewer and fewer. Why? Because AI agents can do it, and AI agents can do it much better. Drafting an email, drafting a report, filing, invoicing, okay, all that. AI can do it. AI agents can do it. So what is there to do at entry level? So entry level jobs will become fewer and fewer and fewer. And the extreme argument here is that our profession will die because over time and over the decades, there'll be less and less and less entry level jobs available in the market. So will be fewer people entering the market. The seniors will get retired and exit the market, and eventually the market will disappear. It's a very extreme argument, right? So there, but the danger is there. The danger is real, okay? And this is what we will start to see quite soon, I believe. The complex nature of the outputs create barriers, okay? It is difficult for us to understand. It's difficult for us to understand these outputs and how AI derived these conclusions or produced the output based on the input that it was given. So following the logic and auditing is a very, very, very complex and difficult job. Lack of human touch and intuition, loss of human judgment. At the moment, guys, financial reporting and financial statements analysis and valuation and finance, it all is extremely, extremely dependent on one thing: judgment. Financial statement preparers and financial statement users, but the best thing they can do is to rely on their judgment. We have the IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards, a set of rules of what we are supposed to do in accounting, in financial reporting, and what we are not supposed to do in financial reporting. However, these set of rules are principles based. They are not rules based. It's not a cookbook approach. Okay? For this type of company, that's the accounting method that you must use. For this other, no, they don't tell you what to do. They tell you how to think and how to judge. Interpreting the international financial reporting standards at the moment is huge. ACCA, the Big Four, the International Financial Reporting Standards Foundation, they all work to report, to interpret these accounting rules that they come up with. Why? Because interpretation is key, and interpretation is key because these rules are applied in financial reporting by a judgment. And ChatGPT and conceptual framework is actually the document that the IFRS have published so that it can direct humans on what kind of logic, what kind of moral logic and judgment they should use when they are, what kind of principles they should follow when they are using financial statements, or rather preparing financial statements. So human judgment is extremely, extremely important, and it is absolutely and undeniably irreplaceable. Absolutely irreplaceable. From the day-to-day business tasks to taking decisions on financial reporting methodologies that will impact investor perception and shareholder perception and creditors and debtors perception of our company. What is the key thing that AI is far from is judgment. Now, judgment has to be informed. Judgment has to be specialized. Okay, so the best type of judgment should be done when humans have a very good specialty, a very high level of specialty and expertise. So yes, entry-level jobs are due to disappear, but expertise is not disappearing. Instead, it's becoming more and more important for oversight of AI and for keeping what's left, judgment and accountability. Of course, data breaches, okay, unauthorized accesses. What companies are now doing is that they're using closed AI systems. So we've got here, Deloitte is using Omnia. Omnia will incorporate AI agents as well. Ernst Young is using Helix. PwC is using Halo. KPMG is using Clara. And they pretty much have similar features, okay? Audit automation, okay? Data analytics, okay? Integrate AI in the work, real-time analytics, and global coordination, okay? A few challenges with AI. So KPMG partner in a KPMG partner was fined $10 million for cheating in auditing exams. Okay, so quite interesting. Okay, how AI can be good or bad. And so, how is our profession eventually going to be transformed? Is it going to disappear, or is it going to? It's not going to disappear. I like to be optimistic but realistic at the same time. Okay, we're not this. Nora Holton is the painter here. She's done the accountant and he's literally keeping the books. Okay, he's writing all these transactions. In the future, that's a ChatGPT image that I generated here on your right. In the future, the accountant will be involved in judgment, consultancy, specialization. Okay, that's why good high-level academic as well as practical specialized knowledge is going to become more and more highly valued and more important. And what we are always going to what we're always going to use is our judgment and our accountability, taking accountability for your moral decisions. Okay, also accounting involves a lot of morality. Okay, fraud, okay, misleading financial reporting. So when these moral decisions are and ethics and regulations are involved, then somebody needs to take accountability. Somebody has to apply judgment and take accountability. And to do that, you have to be highly specialized, an excellent expert. So I believe that the profession is becoming more and more beautiful rather than there being any threat. So I've got a couple of questions here. How is AI changing the role of accountants in the next 5 to 10 years? Which tasks are most likely to remain human-driven? Oversight, okay, that's by Neha. So oversight is going to remain human-driven. Auditing the AI, interacting with the AI, financial forecasting, very much like I said earlier, any expertise task will still require human involvement, okay, and accountability by a human. So I really think this is where we're going. We've got I've got another question here. What technical skills or tools should students start learning now to build a career in AI-driven accounting? So specialization, highly specialized skills. Do you want to specialize in tax? Find a niche tax area. Do you want to specialize in finance? Find a very good specialization in programming in finance. Your MSc, wherever you choose to do it, your MSc should normally give you an excellent opportunity for specialization. Okay, so find a super niche area where you're the only one that knows what they're talking about. Okay. That will ensure an excellent career in AI-driven accountancy and audit and finance. And I've got one last question here. Are there any opportunities for students to gain hands-on experience with AI tools or data analytics during accounting programs? Of course, just like the workplace, AI is just used massively. It's used massively in the lectures. It's used massively for generating reports for your dissertation. Depending on your optional modules that you will take, you might want to change, you might want to take some more practical modules, okay? So programming, for example, technology, okay, financial statement analysis. That requires a lot of coding and a lot of AI use in coding. Yeah, we all use a lot of AI in coding and programming. So, well, just by attending, you are what the university really is doing at master's level. Yeah, you're really just simulating working in the industry, and you are building your expertise. Okay, so you choose specific modules that will reflect your expertise, and from drafting basic e-correspondence and basic reports to your dissertation and coding and all the tasks that the university really does involve the AI. And of course, there's really good guidance and training that we all receive on AI use. Whereas in the industry, things might still be a bit, well, companies have only just started to provide some good training on AI. So there's one more question I've got here. Are there other partnerships with firms where students work on analytics, automation, or digital transformation projects? There are partnerships, and it can be, for example, super practical. Okay, so it can involve companies that come to university and assign students a task, perhaps is a research question, or perhaps it's a decision, a strategic decision that they might want to take. That's actually part of your dissertation work. You can choose to work with a real company and a real problem. Well, there isn't AI project, okay? That's not we are masters in accounting and finance, so there isn't really the computer science element there. However, real life, real companies do come and visit us and do ask student questions, and students answer these questions on strategy and these questions on financial planning via the use of digital tools and via incorporating digital transformation into the way the business is supposed to grow. So yes, businesses come to us. Well, businesses come to you and they seek your help. And they seek your help, and they and a lot of these decisions do involve the use of AI. So you will need to use technology to answer the business question, or the question will directly involve digital transformation. So yes, a lot of exposure on real companies that come to us, come to you, and interact with you on the level of technology and digital projects. Okay, we're leading a few projects with real companies. Okay. I've got another question here. What various AI-based certifications that students can undertake? AI-based certifications, this is ACCA certificate. So there is the the auditing certifications well, that's professional exam, so it's a qualification, and you get a few exemptions on ACCA or CIMA, potentially CFA as well, potentially. Okay, not fully and not yet. So there are no for as far as I am aware, there are no AI certifications, like certifications on AI. There are certifications in auditing and finance certifications, and students do get access to these or part exempt for these. But at the moment, there isn't any sort of certification in AI. AI is just used as a little helper in our day-to-day routine, really. I've got another question here. For someone from a non-technical background, how steep is the learning curve? How steep is the learning curve for analytics modules? Yeah, very, very steep. Very steep. However, there is really, really high level of support. There's really high level, like you're not alone deep diving, okay, in dark waters. Well, you are, but there is a lot of support available. The lecturers provide a lot of additional resources. Lecturers have, well, I teach accounting. Accounting and financial accounting. So I teach the IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards. However, there are some modules that you can choose. Financial statements analysis. A few of your compulsory modules would be econometrics. You could choose programming for finance. So very, very analytics-based modules. It's not the end of the world. Like, your lecturers will have office hours. They spend a few hours every week answering questions and sitting with you and supporting you. There is mentors, there is academic advisory support. Our university, because it's very, very student experience centered, provides all the support to need. And then you just need to do your part. So you need to study and be disciplined and work really hard. And especially given that you have a non-technical background, you need to work a bit higher, comparatively to someone who's had a technical background and comes for this master's. But it is, if you work hard, it is going to be achievable, doable, and you will not feel alone and drowned. Definitely not in Bath. Okay. So that one is finished. And I've got one last question that I can see here in my chat box. Um, can you please name a few AI-based tools that are used in finance, in accounting and finance? Okay, so agentic AI, not yet. We've got, oh, I think my screen stopped sharing. We've got the AI systems, so Omnia, Hello, Clara. We've got Oracle. We have built-in very basic built-in AI agents. You can just Google them, really, and Zero. So basically, AI tools alone are not a thing yet, but that companies that incorporate and offer these services with AI tools included is what really happens at the moment. So if you want to use Zero, their software, which is a software for invoicing, for financial planning, for managing your debtors. If you want to use Zero, that you purchase their software, and that just comes with AI. So yeah, well, there isn't any plain AI tools that are just sitting there on their own. Companies develop their own, and they will sell, and they sell and use their systems and their software. And these systems and software now include AI tools. So yeah, AI is not a thing on its own. At the university, we don't have AI certifications. We don't have AI tasks. We just do what we do and we use AI to do it. Same as softwares and same as companies in the industry. They just do what they do and they have incorporated AI in it. So that's it really. And I don't seem to have any more questions.
Yeah, I don't think, Emily, there are any more questions. I mean, thank you so much for such an insightful and engaging session, particularly on agentic AI and AI challenges. I think it's such an eye-opener for everybody. And thank you to all our participants for joining us today. We hope you found this masterclass helpful in understanding how artificial intelligence is transforming accounting and the exciting career opportunities it brings. Thank you once again, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.